What are your biggest risks? Hello, this is Reinhard von Hennigs. And as a business person, you may ask yourself this question, you may ask your team this question. What are the three exposures which are really critical for us as an organization, which will significantly impact our business, our bottom line, our customer relation, if it were to happen to us? The annual risk barometer survey done by Alliance Insurance finds major concerns of the companies, and cyber perils, business interruptions, and natural disasters were ranked as the top three. Interesting enough, number one, supply chain issues, which so many of my clients talk about, is not on the top three, as well as the COVID-19 pandemic jumped down from number 2 last year now to number 4. Still relevant, but obviously most of you feel that this is no longer a real issue. What I take away from cyber peril and business interruption as the main concern on top of natural disasters is, how are you protecting yourself not only on an insurance side, but also from a drafting of the contracts point of view? Do you have force majeure clauses? Do you have in your contracts written that a cyber peril would be one of those unforeseeable acts? Do you have a business interruption due to a natural disaster labeled as an unforeseeable act? Because if you don't, I wonder whether in the future courts will give you the out of jail free card for this situation, because if cyber peril, business interruption, natural disasters are ongoingly discussed amongst business leaders as a main risk, it may no longer be one of those unforeseeable force majeure clauses. So the best strategy is go to the drafting table and add to your new contracts those clauses. Cyber peril and natural disasters is certainly something which you should write in detail in your contracts. And even more important, make sure that they are used, because what we have seen also is that the decision makers suggest new clauses, but the salespeople just don't do it. Who is the United States ambassador to Germany? Hello, this is Reinhard von Hennigs. Until a few days ago, the answer would have been nobody, because ever since Richard Jernell left his post in June of 2020, there was no US ambassador in Germany. But now the Foreign Committee as well as US Senate nominated with 54 votes to 42 votes Amy Gutmann as the first female ambassador to Germany. It is good to have again an ambassador in Germany from the United States, as it is good to have the two countries, which are very close to my heart, as I'm a dual citizen of both United States and Germany, are now back to a traditional, regular representation with ambassadors in both countries. The good relation between Germany was a big discussion point I picked up over the last weeks, and certainly the visit from the newly elected German Chancellor in the United States, where both Scholz and Biden got together, is an indication of the new relation between Germany and the United States. But moving to Germany for the 72-year-old professor of political science is also back to the roots. Her father left in 1934 the Franconian city of Feuchtwangen and was able to go to India, from there settled in the United States, where his daughter was born. So certainly a good indication of German-American relations just by their own heritage. And I'm looking forward what this professor of political science will do in light of the close relations between the United States and Germany.
Whether you're a private citizen, an international business leader, or simply someone eager to stay on top of the latest news, this book is a great way to get caught up on the most recent developments in the worlds of international business, tax, politics, and social affairs. Go to morningmusings.com and order your copy today.
What is Title IX? Hello, this is Reinhard von Hennigs. And the quick answer is, it is a piece of legislation of the so-called educational amendments of 1972, which protects students from discrimination based on sex. What happened? Harvard University is now in the focus of a lawsuit by 3 female graduate students who filed a suit against the Ivy League school for ignoring sexual harassment by a professor, and the professor allegedly threatened their academic careers if they would report the professor. The lawsuit was filed in federal court in Boston, and it happened after Harvard placed the professor on leave following a university investigation. Why is it newsworthy to talk about it? Well, first of all, Harvard is on so many of our minds. If I would have asked the opening question, have you heard of Harvard? I'm pretty sure everybody would have said yes. But to bring it up today follows a different purpose. There are lawsuits out against major institutions, companies, and they all share one thing. After an alleged sexual conduct happened, the university, the institutions, the company failed to conduct either the proper remediate steps or disciplinary steps, or they just forgot to do something. There are similar stories of university professors in the past, so in a way it is not a new pattern. It is also not a new pattern for companies. But the main takeaways for you as an entrepreneur, for you as a company founder, for you as the CEO or whatever function you have in a company is, if there is a case where there is a conduct questionable, disputable, or in any case not acceptable, you need to act on it by making a clear internal change of rules, by making a clear HR reprimand, by making a clear strategy what to do in the future. The problem, as always, is not when it happens for the first time, even though it is bad when it happens for the first time. However, if you, as the person who is responsible, allow this to happen a second and a third time, that's when those lawsuits boil up. And here again, 3 students claim the same thing happened to them independently. And that's where the problem is, not for you, but it can be avoided. What is your personal space? Hello, this is Reinhard von Hennigs. And if you and I were together in a room, we would keep a distance. 2 feet seems to be culturally acceptable in certain cultures, maybe 3 feet in others, maybe 1 in difference, maybe 5 in another culture. So the distance you feel comfortable with other friends, fellows, countrymen, or strangers varies from country to country. But how much distance do you need in the virtual reality? This was a subject of a long discussion, and now Meta, the Facebook virtual reality, adds to their system Horizon a personal boundary system. So if you are in virtual reality and you are feeling harassed, yes, it can also happen in virtual reality. So the new change implements a 2-foot distance where avatars can only go so close to another avatar if the avatar has not changed the personal distance guidelines. The equivalent of a 2-foot radius versus a 4-foot radius is all hard to understand if you don't play the game, but a Meta spokesperson confirmed the other day that users cannot change the rules as the system is intended to have standard distances built in. So if you're getting too close, the virtual hand virtually disappears, which gives you some peace, comfort, and safety. What does it mean in other terms or on a big picture? If Facebook, through its system Meta, through a game Horizon, realizes that harassment can happen by people interacting in a too close, in a too touchy-feely way, how much more should we in our real life change our rules and behaviors as well, so that other people do not feel uncomfortable with what we do in their presence? But by the same token, it's also an interesting way to think it like that. If virtual reality implements rules for what is a proper distance, do we have the same rules implemented in our real life? As in, you should be as comfortable or even more comfortable in real life than you are in virtual reality. Food for thought. Do you get deliveries from Amazon? Hello, this is Reinhard von Hennigs. And maybe I should rephrase the question. Do you get deliveries on Amazon and ask your Amazon delivery person to perform a dance on your Ring camera installed in your house? If so, let me know why you're doing it, because this recent trend made me speechless. There is the trend out then to have the Amazon delivery person's dance be not only recorded, but posted on TikTok, including phrases of, "This guy is good, does anybody know who he is?" or similar phrases. So here's my quick nutshell. It seems to be an abuse of your power, as the threat to give a bad review for that delivery driver if you would not perform is certainly not what I accepted a good employment practice. By the same token, to have the Amazon delivery guy saying phrases along the line for, "Thank you for keeping me employed," into the Ring camera and have this recorded goes to the same area of abuse. Why do people do that if they're a delivery driver for Amazon? Well, first of all, they're afraid of bad reviews. Second of all, if they continue to get bad reviews, they may not get paid, or even worse, they may get fired. So in a way, it is a modern abuse system. And if you ever record your Amazon delivery person on your Ring camera and have him do something, please talk to me. I'm really curious to learn why somebody would like to have a recording of a dancing Amazon delivery. Have you heard of the Nivea arm transaction? Hello, this is Reinhard von Hennigs. And no, this is not an arm's length transaction. It is a transition between ownership for the ARM company from SoftBank Group over to NVIDIA. This deal is dead now. Why? Because regulatory compliance issues killed the deal. Antitrust concerns and you name it were challenges the seller and the buyer could not overcome. Whereas ARM has a bright future and is now an opportunity for SoftBank, the current owner, to make a public offering out of that. Am I buying shares on that? Well, I'll keep that as a secret, because this is a morning musing and not an investment exchange, investment advisory, even though I'm not licensed to do that. But I believe ARM is becoming a center of innovation, not only in the mobile phones, but also in cloud computing, in the automotive, in the Internet of Things, also known as Internet 4.0. So there is future in ARM, and interesting enough that current regulatory interaction prevented a mega company to be created. For now, the announcement is that in the year of 2023, there should be an IPO where you can acquire ARM shares. Interesting enough, ARM somewhere popped up as a technology company somewhere outside of the public view, even though ARM is out for many, many years right now and is considered to be the mega player in the smartphone and supercomputer world. There are over 1,000 technology partners for ARM who work on designing and interacting and pushing the frontier of the internet, the frontier of the digital world forward. Why do I think it's relevant? Is if you are a startup company, you want to make sure that you not only have a niche product, but also a great concept to let your company grow. ARM certainly did it, and they did it not at arm's length. They did it at an exponential growth.